Kennesaw State Owls versus Florida International Panthers. The lights of Pitbull Stadium will burn bright on Monday night as the Kennesaw State Owls, 4-2, 2-0 CUSA, head south to face the Florida International Panthers, 3-3, 1-1 CUSA, in a pivotal midseason conference USA showdown. Both teams find themselves at a crossroads. Kennesaw State, riding high after back-to-back league victories, looks to tighten its grip near the top of the standings, while FIU aims to stabilize a roller coaster season and climb out of the conference middle tier. The Owls have surged behind efficient quarterback play and defensive balance, while the Panthers have battled inconsistency but shown flashes of explosive potential. With Jacksonville State leading the conference at 3-0, this meeting carries significant weight in shaping the upper half of the CUSA race. Florida International enters the contest with a 3-3 overall record, trying to rebound from a shaky start that's seen dramatic highs, like a 38-28 victory over FAU, and lows, such as double-digit losses to Delaware and UCNN. Quarterback Keon Jenkins has been a central figure in that turbulence, offering moments of precision mixed with turnovers that have stalled drives. Across the field, sophomore Amari Odom has become the quiet revelation for Kennesaw State, executing the Owls' balanced attack with maturity and rhythm. The matchup is not just about records, it's about momentum, confidence, and whether Kennesaw State's clean efficiency can outlast FIU's high-risk, high-reward offense under the humid Miami night sky. Quarterbacks define college football matchups, and this one sets up a fascinating contrast. Kennesaw State's Amari Odom, a 1.93-meter sophomore from Inglewood, California, has been sharp and composed, completing 71.6% of his passes for 754 yards, 4 touchdowns, and just 1 interception through 6 games. His poise in conference play has been outstanding, posting a 183.6 passer rating against CUSA opponents while throwing for 162 yards and 2 touchdowns per league contest. Odom's decision-making stands out. He's been sacked sparingly and limits mistakes, a hallmark of Kennesaw's controlled offensive rhythm. Against Middle Tennessee and Louisiana Tech, Odom showcased his growing confidence, guiding the Owls to a combined 52 points, with a completion percentage north of 65 in both outings. For FIU, junior quarterback Keon Jenkins represents both the promise and the frustration of the Panthers' season. The Miami native has thrown for 959 yards with 3 touchdowns but an alarming 4 interceptions. His completion rate, 63.6%, and passer rating, 113.6, indicate a capable passer when protected, but his rhythm collapses under pressure. In conference action, Jenkins has completed 66.1% of passes for 387 yards and 2 touchdowns, posting a respectable 125.6 rating, but that's offset by a string of turnovers that have cost FIU crucial possessions. Against Western Kentucky last week, Jenkins managed 184 passing yards and 2 total touchdowns, but still looked tentative under duress. His 47-yard touchdown strikes show arm talent, yet inconsistency has plagued his outings. Facing a disciplined Kennesaw front that thrives on containing mobile quarterbacks, Jenkins' composure and timing will be decisive. Kennesaw State's offense thrives on balance and execution rather than explosiveness. Quarterback Odom distributes efficiently to an emerging group of skill players, highlighted by wideout G. Benyard, who has 29 catches for 398 yards and 3 touchdowns, establishing himself as the Owls' most consistent chain mover. Running back C. Bennett anchors the ground game with 365 yards on 76 carries and 2 scores, averaging 4.8 yards per carry. His ability to churn out tough yards in short yardage situations has been vital in maintaining control of tempo. When Bennett finds rhythm, Kennesaw's play-action game blossoms, opening the intermediate windows that Odom excels at exploiting. Florida International, by contrast, runs a more dynamic but volatile system centered on their workhorse back Kay Owens, who has 658 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns on 98 carries, an impressive 6.7 yards per attempt. Owens's combination of burst and balance makes him FIU's offensive cornerstone, and when the Panthers establish him early, Jenkins's passing efficiency rises sharply. On the perimeter, A. Perry has emerged as a reliable target, pulling in 19 receptions for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. His chemistry with Jenkins is building, particularly on short and intermediate slants designed to mitigate pressure. Kennesaw State enters Monday's contest on a strong run, winning 4 of its last 5 games. After an early season stumble against Indiana, a 56-9 defeat that served as a learning experience, the Owls rebounded impressively. They've since notched wins against Merrimack, 27-13, Arkansas State, 28-21, Middle Tennessee, 24-16, and most recently, Louisiana Tech, 35-7. The defense, often overshadowed by offensive balance, has quietly allowed just 14.25 points per game over that stretch. Kennesaw's front 7, anchored by defensive lineman T. Dunlap, 3.5 sacks, and linebacker B. Hobson, 57 tackles, has forced opposing offenses into predictable passing downs, where they've thrived on third down stops. FIU's recent 5-game stretch paints a more uneven picture. The Panthers dropped back-to-back heartbreakers to Delaware, 38-16, and UConn, 51-10, before rallying for a 25-6 win over Western Kentucky. While the defense showed signs of improvement in that win, limiting WKU to just 6 points, the broader pattern shows inconsistency. When the offense clicks, FIU can trade punches with mid-tier programs, as seen in the 38-28 upset over FAU earlier in the year. But when turnovers and missed assignments pile up, the Panthers unravel quickly. Home field advantage could help stabilize their play, yet they've gone just 1-2 in Miami so far. In the broader CUSA picture, this matchup carries meaningful implications. Kennesaw State sits in second place in the conference standings, 2-0, trailing only Jacksonville State, 3-0. A win in Miami would not only cement their contender status, but also give them a crucial tiebreaker edge heading into the November stretch. Florida International, at 1-1 in conference play, needs a victory to stay in postseason contention and reach bowl eligibility. A loss would drop them to .500 overall and push them further behind Liberty and Louisiana Tech in the race for a mid-tier bowl berth. With a schedule that still includes Liberty and Missouri State, this home game may be their most manageable opportunity to grab a statement win. Neither team enters the contest with major reported injuries among starters, though both rely heavily on depth at key positions. Kennesaw State's offensive line rotation has been stable but relatively thin. Fatigue could be a factor late in games against physical fronts like FIU's. Defensively, the Owls have enjoyed continuity, with Hobson and Dunlap setting the tone. For FIU, the linebacker core, led by Jay Chaney Jr., 48 tackles, has been solid, but the secondary has been prone to lapses in deep coverage, something Odom will look to exploit. Running back Kay Owens has carried a heavy workload, and sustaining his durability through 4 quarters will be critical for FIU's offensive rhythm. 3 key elements could swing this matchup. First, quarterback efficiency, Odom's control versus Jenkins' volatility, will dictate possession and scoring rhythm. If Odom maintains his composure and surpasses 65% completions, Kennesaw's offense should move fluidly. Second, red zone execution looms large. Kennesaw thrives on sustained drives but must convert. FIU, conversely, struggles to finish possessions. Third, turnovers could determine the outcome. Kennesaw has just 1 interception on the season. FIU has 4 by Jenkins alone. Each giveaway could tilt field position dramatically, especially in a game where both defenses have playmakers capable of capitalizing. This matchup feels like a referendum on identity. Kennesaw State is steady, efficient, and defensively sound. Everything FIU aspires to be but hasn't consistently achieved. While the Panthers' home crowd and athleticism give them upset potential, the Owls' balance, discipline, and efficiency should prevail. Expect Kennesaw to control time of possession with Bennett's ground game and Odom's high-percentage passing, while Hobson and Dunlap anchor a defense that limits Owens's rushing lanes and forces Jenkins into hurried throws. Statistical indicators also favor Kennesaw. The Owls are converting 43% of third downs, while FIU ranks below 35%. Kennesaw's turnover margin +5 dwarfs FIU's -3, a telling sign of reliability. The predictive analytics give Kennesaw a 60% chance to win, a fair reflection of the consistency gap. FIU may hang tough early, riding adrenaline and home energy, but the Owls' structure should wear down the Panthers over 4 quarters. Expect a disciplined, methodical performance that extends Kennesaw's CUSA win streak to 3. Kennesaw's surge continues as Odom posts another efficient outing, somewhere around 220 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, while Bennett and the defense control the tempo. FIU flashes big play potential, but ultimately succumbs to mistakes and inconsistency. As the Owls march deeper into conference play, their focus sharpens on Jacksonville State atop the standings, while the Panthers face another gut check in their climb toward bowl contention. With confidence growing each week, Kennesaw's balanced attack looks increasingly polished, their rhythm steadying as they embrace the pressure of meaningful late-season football. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Kennesaw State Owls winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Western Kentucky Hilltoppers versus Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. The Conference USA race tightens as the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers head to Ruston to take on the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs in a pivotal mid-season showdown at Joe Aylett Stadium. Western Kentucky, standing at 5-2 overall and 3-1 in conference play, enters the contest as a surging contender, looking to keep pace with Jacksonville State atop the standings. Louisiana Tech, meanwhile, sits at 4-2 overall and 2-1 in CUSA, aiming to defend home turf and reassert itself as a legitimate challenger in a league that has become increasingly competitive. With both teams jockeying for postseason positioning, this matchup represents more than just another game. It's a test of identity, resilience, and conference supremacy. The analytics favor Western Kentucky with a 73.3% win probability, but Louisiana Tech's steady improvement under pressure and a well-balanced offense make this far from a foregone conclusion. The game pits one of the league's most seasoned passers, senior quarterback Maverick McIver, against an emerging sophomore gunslinger, Blake Baker, whose poise and arm talent have turned heads in Ruston. It's a clash of experience versus ambition, system versus spark, and both teams understand that a win here could be the catalyst that propels them toward a bowl berth or a run at the CUSA title game. Western Kentucky's Maverick McIver has been the model of consistency in 2025. The senior quarterback has thrown for 1,863 yards, completing 171 of 254 passes, 67.3%, with 12 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, producing a solid 140.8 passer rating and 50.4 QBR. McIver has built a career defined by efficiency and calm under pressure, and this year has been no exception. Against conference opponents, he's been at his sharpest, completing 67.1% of his passes for 1,107 yards and 5 touchdowns with a 135.2 rating, despite limited support from the running game. McIver's rhythm and decision-making have been key for the Hilltoppers, especially in tight games. His last 5 outings tell the story of a steady hand guiding an offense through adversity. A tough loss to FIU, 25-6, was offset by back-to-back wins over Delaware and Missouri State, both of which showcased his ability to move the chains efficiently with limited turnovers. The Hilltoppers' success often rises and falls with McIver's pocket command and intermediate passing, areas where his experience provides a tangible edge. Across the field, Louisiana Tech's Blake Baker is proving himself as the next great Bulldog passer. The sophomore has thrown for 649 yards on 50 completions in 82 attempts, 61.0%, with 3 touchdowns and just 1 interception, compiling a 137.1 passer rating and 58.4 QBR. While those numbers lag behind McIver's totals, Baker's efficiency and arm strength have begun to blossom, particularly at home. His 62.2% completion rate and 420 yards with 11.4 yards per attempt in Ruston highlight how comfortable he is commanding the offense in familiar territory. Against conference opponents, Baker has totaled 365 yards and 2 touchdowns with a 126.9 rating, showing flashes of the downfield precision that could stress the WKU secondary. The contrast between McIver's polished timing routes and Baker's aggressive vertical passing could define the contest. Western Kentucky's defense thrives on forcing mistakes, but Baker has shown composure beyond his years, taking only 5 sacks all season despite operating behind a young offensive line. The quarterback battle will likely determine the outcome. McIver's maturity and Louisiana Tech's home field spark are set to collide in a chess match of tempo, accuracy, and red zone execution. Western Kentucky's attack has leaned heavily on a balanced but explosive passing scheme. Wide receiver Malachi Henry has emerged as McIver's most reliable target, hauling in 23 catches for 435 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaging nearly 19 yards per reception. His ability to stretch the field vertically opens space for running back Mark Parrish, who leads the Hilltoppers with 258 rushing yards on 56 carries, averaging 4.6 per attempt. While not a bruising runner, Parrish's versatility as both a rusher and checkdown option provides the offense with rhythm when defenses drop deep to guard against the pass. For Louisiana Tech, tight end Eli Finley has been the surprise weapon, recording 252 receiving yards on 17 catches, giving Baker a dependable safety valve over the middle. Running back Cam Thavenin has anchored the ground game with 261 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on 61 carries, showing a knack for finishing drives. With Finley's ability to create mismatches against linebackers and Thavenin's efficiency in short yardage situations, the Bulldogs have the balanced offensive blueprint necessary to challenge a Western Kentucky defense that's allowed over 25 points per game in its last 5 contests. Western Kentucky enters the matchup following a stunning 25-6 loss to FIU that exposed vulnerabilities in pass protection and red zone execution. Before that setback, the Hilltoppers had won 3 straight over Delaware, Missouri State, and Nevada, outscoring them 75-56 overall. At 5-2 overall, the Hilltoppers remain one of the most balanced teams in CUSA, boasting an offense that averages over 350 yards per game and a defense that thrives on situational pressure, led by linebacker D. Oliver, 2 sacks, and tackler Jay Wester, 39 total stops. Louisiana Tech's season has been a tale of progression. After a rocky 23-7 loss to LSU to open the year, the Bulldogs have won 4 of their last 5, including 3 consecutive conference victories over New Mexico State, 49-14, Southern Miss, 30-20, and UTEP, 30-11, before falling narrowly to Kennesaw State, 35-7, in a surprising stumble. Their offense has clicked into rhythm, averaging 28 points over that stretch, while the defense, anchored by M. Mason, 3 sacks, and K. Fields, 39 tackles, has forced timely turnovers to compensate for early game lapses. Louisiana Tech's home record, 2-1, and efficiency under the Ruston lights make them a dangerous opponent, particularly for a visiting WKU squad that has shown inconsistency on the road. Both programs remain squarely in the mix for postseason contention. Western Kentucky sits third in Conference USA at 3-1, trailing only Jacksonville State and Kennesaw State. A victory in Ruston would not only keep the Hilltoppers in striking distance of the conference lead, but also secure crucial tiebreaker positioning for December's title chase. Louisiana Tech, at 2-1 in league play, can leapfrog WKU with a win and move into the top 3 of the standings. With Liberty and Florida International both faltering, this matchup could serve as a defining moment for bowl eligibility and conference seeding. Neither team enters the game with significant reported injuries, but depth will play a crucial role. Western Kentucky's offensive line has struggled with fatigue late in games, a factor that could invite pressure from Louisiana Tech's front seven. Conversely, the Bulldogs' secondary has been inconsistent, allowing over 250 passing yards per game, a dangerous stat against a quarterback like McIver. Both coaching staffs will need to rotate skill players effectively to maintain tempo and avoid the second-half letdowns that have plagued them at times this season. The Hilltoppers' X factor lies squarely in their passing efficiency. If McIver can maintain his 67% completion rate while avoiding turnovers, WKU's vertical passing could overwhelm a Bulldog defense still searching for consistency in zone coverage. For Louisiana Tech, the key will be establishing Cam Thevenin early. Sustained success on the ground could open play-action opportunities for Baker to attack downfield against single coverage. Additionally, special teams execution, particularly field position and kickoff containment, could decide the flow of the game in what's expected to be a close contest through 3 quarters. Western Kentucky's analytical edge and quarterback experience make them the statistical favorite, but the intangibles tilt slightly toward Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs' home confidence, coupled with their improving defensive front, could disrupt WKU's rhythm early. Expect McIver to settle in by the second quarter, leading a balanced attack through the air, but Louisiana Tech's resilience and ball control approach should keep the game tight deep into the fourth. If their running game finds early traction and the secondary maintains discipline against WKU's deep threats, the Bulldogs could force the Hilltoppers into uncomfortable third-down situations. Momentum swings will matter, and whichever team capitalizes on red zone chances will likely control the tempo late. Louisiana Tech's crowd energy and defensive persistence might give them just enough of an emotional spark to challenge the odds well into the closing minutes. Final projection: Western Kentucky 31, Louisiana Tech 27. The Hilltoppers' passing precision and depth at receiver should outlast a spirited Bulldog effort, keeping WKU in the CUSA title conversation. However, don't rule out a Louisiana Tech upset. If Baker continues to progress and Finley exploits WKU's linebackers, this could be one of the season's defining conference thrillers. Expect a tense, high-energy finish where momentum swings on a single turnover or broken tackle. The Bulldogs' home crowd could spark a late rally, but Western Kentucky's late-game composure and quick-strike capability should ultimately prevail. Both teams have the talent to make this a showcase of CUSA's offensive depth and emerging quarterback play, making it must-watch football from start to finish. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Western Kentucky Hilltoppers winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box.